Good morning, grade 3 and 4. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, 4-21-20. If you want to fill out your assignment books in religion, you would have God's promises. In your reading box, you would have Working on Castle on Viola Street. Remember to read that story out of your hardcover reading book and take an AR test on it. We're only working on it this week, so that needs to get done this week. Take care of it and get it off the books, okay? And be working on your packet, at least one page each day, so that you are finished with that and can hand that in on Friday. For math, Joanna's group in grade 3, you have lesson 102, sorting. You did great on the preview yesterday, so I don't think you'll have any trouble with that. And after a little bit of conversation here, we'll go through grade 4's lesson on adding and subtracting fractions. Wow, that's going to be exciting, something new. Remember to continue working on your junior park ranger activity. You need to let me know by the end of the day tomorrow which one you would like to do for the next 2 weeks, okay? So there are several different ones, and I want you to explore some of them and make a good choice, a good fit for you. And then remember that you are to be doing your work on Google Classroom also for the National Park site reviews. And as you go to each site, fill out that worksheet so that you don't have to try to go back and figure it out. It's in my intent is that you would take 3 different days and maybe a little bit more to go through. Maybe it'll take you 2 days to go through one of the sites. So just because it isn't due until Monday morning, please don't wait till Sunday night to do it. They take some time, okay? So take some time to actually do the work with it. Thank you. Alrighty. I will be doing a separate video today that will cover doing the classification on Wisconsin history, your back of that page, and then also talking about your paragraph number 2 for your reading review paper, and then also actually right now, I'll just remind you that let's try to get our family trees done by the end of this week. If you're still waiting for some information from someone, please let me know. I'm okay with that. But I do need you to keep working on it. It's not something that we can just put off, and that's not the reason why you're getting your information. You have to be doing some digging and seeing what you can find out. Okay? Thank you very much. So that's it for grade 3 for this video. Okay? And now we will go, and of course, grade 3, if you have any questions on your math lesson, make sure you give me a holler, but I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't think you'll have any issues with that. All righty. And let's go to grade 4. All right, grade 4, you are going to want to have your hardcover math book and a scrap piece of paper and a pencil to be able to go through the practice with me, okay? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to get those things, and I'm going to go to my other screen. All right, so the first thing that they talk about, if you look in your math, is thinking about adding fractions. And the way that they describe it, if you look on the top of 676, they describe it as, well, you know how to say 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples. So just think of how we say 1/3. So if you have 1/3 plus 1/3, that will be 2/3. It makes sense. Okay, 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. All right, let's try that on our paper. So on your scratch piece of paper, you would have 1/3 plus 1/3 equals, notice, because the denominators are already the same, they stay the same. You do not add the 3 and the 3. Okay? It's just like this was an apple. 1 apple plus 1 apple is 2 apples. 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3, not 2/6, 2/3. The reason I have the graph paper out here is I also want to encourage you on your math page to put a number in each box. So for example, 2/3 is going to take up 2 boxes. All right. Or if we do 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. Okay. Don't try to fit 1/3 in one box. Too small. Okay. All right, so I wanted to remind you of that as well. All right, let's take a look at one of the other examples on our page. Example 1 says Blake mixed 3/5 of a pound of cashews with 1/5 of a pound of pecans. What is the weight in pounds of the cashew and pecan mixture? So again, we write down our equation, and I think I'm going to switch to this page right here just to be showing you this. And if you're on just a scratch paper, that's okay. So just so you get used to seeing it. Our first number is 3/5 plus 1/5. And remember, we're not going to do anything except copy that over. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and fifths. We're talking about how many fifths. So it's like this is our label. 4/5 of a pound. Okay. Now, the same rule applies when you're subtracting. So the example they give us is 5/7 minus 2/7. Just like if I had 5 apples, take away 2 apples, I would end up with 3 apples. When I do 5/7, take away 2/7, I have 3/7. Let's try example 2. To make a small bow for a present, Denitra cut 1/5 of a yard of ribbon from a length of ribbon that was 3/5 of a yard long. What is the length of ribbon that was not used for the bow? So what was left over? So we have to start with our larger fraction. 3/5 was the total that we started with. She cut off 1/5 of it. And now how much is left? Again, 3 take away 1 is 2, and we keep our bottom number the same, 2/5 of a yard. Okay, how could you check your answer? Sure, 2/5 plus 1/5, we just work backwards. What should we get? 3/5. We should get our beginning number. Even fractions are a fact family. Look at that. All right. Now, sometimes you might have a mixed number, and a mixed number is just a whole number plus a fraction. And the example they give us is 2 3/5 down on the bottom. So if you add a mixed number, you just add the fraction parts and then you add the whole parts. So it's just like another place. So for example 3, they are asking us to do 2 3/5 plus 3 1/5. Here's how I want you to write it on your page. 2 takes up 2 boxes, and 3/5 plus 3 1/5. And what does that equal? Now, notice that they took this and wrote it vertically. Same thing. 2 3/5. Leave some space. 3 1/5. Okay, notice how this is lined up. This is lined up. Your fractions are lined up. Your whole number is lined up. 3/5 plus 1/5. That's 4/5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay? 2 3/5, 3 plus 1/5 equals 5 4/5. So instead of writing it across, let's write it how they show us there. Okay? Example 4. Now we're going to subtract. Subtract 5 2/3 and 1 1/3. 2/3, take away 1/3. We do our fraction section first, is 1/3. 5 take away 1 is 4. Got it. 4 1/3 is our answer. Now let's take a look at example 5 because they show us something special that we always want to make sure that our answer makes sense and is in the way that we would logically say the answer as well. Okay? So it says, in the race, Martin rode his bike 7 1/2 miles and ran 2 1/2 miles. Altogether, how far did Martin ride his bike and run? So we're going to add, and we know what to do, 7 1/2 plus, I put my plus sign down a little bit, plus, what was it? 2 1/2. All right, so I want a little bit of space here. I'm going to put my plus sign here. So 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2 halves. 7 plus 2 is 9. Now, think about what 2 halves means. That means 1. So we want to write our answer as, what is 9 plus 1? It is 10. You wouldn't tell me I biked and ran 9 2/2 miles today. You would say I ran and biked 10 miles. Okay, so notice how, because this fraction also equals 1, we can do 9 plus 1, and that gives us a more common sense answer of 10. Okay? So you have quite a few problems to do for practice today, all the way to N. And the one thing that I want to remind you of, when you get down to M and N, you need to make an equation, okay? You need to write a number sentence. So let me help you out with those two. Let's see, can you still see? Yep, so here's M. How much is 3/8 plus 4/8? Excuse me, 3/8 plus 4/8. So 3/8 plus 4/8. Even though they give you a story problem written in words, you are going to write it out. 3/8 plus 4/8 equals 7/8. Well, that was easy. Okay, let's try N together. The troop hiked to the end of the trail and back. If the trail was 3 1/2 miles long, how far did the troop hike? So we're going to do 3 1/2 plus 3 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2 halves. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now think about what we did up here in our example. Are we going to leave it to be 6 2/2 miles? No. We're going to do 6 plus, remember this is 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. And we have our label, 7 miles. So there you go. I helped you out with M and N. You have A through L to do, okay? So practicing doing some adding of fractions with common denominators and subtracting them. And some of them are mixed numbers. When it's the mixed numbers, for sure go vertically like this. When it's just fractions, it's up to you. You could do it this way, or for example, you can do these the other way as well. This would just be 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. So either way is okay. When you're doing just fractions, when you're doing a mixed number, let's do it vertically, okay? Yay, smiley face from Mrs. Stoll. I miss making my smiley faces. All right, so that is your math for today. I'll let you get started on that. And then remember, you have bring back to me. Hi. We have one other video to watch today where I will go through Wisconsin history, how to do the classification part. So have your page ready for that. I'll go through your next paragraph for reading, your reading review. So have your sheet for that. And then if you have any questions or are having some struggles on your family tree, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be expecting your families to bring it in this week when you come to pick up your supplies for our last 3 weeks of school. Can you believe it? Wow, the year has gone so quickly. And thank you for all your hard work. Work hard today. God's blessings. Bye-bye.